Something I just want to speak about. What is your self-worth? And do people look at you based off of what you are worth? And do you have something to offer people for them to stick around? That's what I'm going to speak about. You see, a lot of us, we may have confidence just day by day if we are doing something that is good for us, if we are preoccupied with having a peaceful mindset, starting off our day with a regimen of getting up, eating a healthy breakfast, doing some exercise like walking, jogging. We may have a prayer life, and we may try to do what is exceedingly being kind to others in one way or the other. We may work our jobs, if you have a 9 to 5, if you have a career, whatever that is, and you're looking each way to save money by putting money away. You may be planning whatever it is that you want to do for your future. And you may have a certain amount of friends, family, acquaintances that you interact with on a day-to-day basis. You may have certain coworkers that you have a interaction with throughout the day. And you notice how different people that you come across day by day, they treat you a certain way. They talk to you in a certain way. And you know that you feel a certain way on how people interact with you and how people will treat you. Do you know that a lot of times when we find people that we see that are accessible and we see that they, come in your circle and where you are in order to fill up a certain type of space, that they preoccupy, your time in a particular way that is on all levels of interaction. There is usually a lot of times, most of the time, something that you either have to offer, something that they expect, that they want you to offer them, and there is something that attracts them to you for whatever means. It could be what you have, it could be your clout, it could be a status, it could be something that you're aiming for, that they're trying to aim for, and they're trying to find how to aim for what it is that they're looking to get, that you're trying to get. And it's what you can offer someone, what you offer people, that gives them a reason to want to be in your life. The saying goes, there is nothing for nothing. And, people ordinarily, no matter who it is you come across, I notice one thing about reality is that they won't stick around if you don't have something to offer them. And it doesn't matter how much of a person that you are as far as being a stand-up person. You could be a respectful person. You could be a hard-working person. You could be a very spiritual person that believes in God, that follows God, and has a standard of doing what is right. You could be very giving, very charitable. You could be very loving, very sincere in just your life. And it doesn't make people necessarily respect you. It doesn't mean that people are going to openly wide embrace you and that they're going to have anything remotely to do with you in wanting to really truly be loyal to you. You see, I believe that you have to be someone, if you're a man specifically in this world, you have to be stoic, you have to be serious, you have to be, someone that is in the middle, meaning that you show courtesy by acknowledging people for who they are, and you give people the benefit of the doubt. You also search, those who come into your circle or those that you interact with, you search them out by picking up pieces of information of how they speak. You look at where they're coming from and how they're either in your life because they want to add something to your life that is beneficial, or if they're looking just to use you. And a lot of people are on different journeys. They're trying to search their meaning and their purpose, just like you are. And sometimes when people are trying to find their purpose for themselves, they may not want to open themselves to others. They may not want to extend courtesy. They may not want to extend friendship in a way that you may be wanting what is friendship with that person. And there are those that will just cut out what is of, non-profited soil that doesn't enrich for plants to actually grow in the way that they're supposed to. Seeds in the ground that don't manifest into growth because the soil is either damaged soil or it's not soil that is useful in any which way. And you have to take everything with a grain of salt. There are people who will disappoint you because people are human. God is not human. God is a spirit. You see, if someone that may love you in a particular way, one moment, 1 minute, and they suddenly switch up and they don't no longer love you in the way that they said that they loved you. If people who are your friends today, who are your family members today, become your enemy tomorrow, and you didn't do anything such against those people, but they just switched on you, for whatever reason, because of how they see you and because of what you have or what you don't have, it doesn't really matter. Because do you know that everyone is temporary? Everything is temporary. Do you know that our ideas and opinions, they don't really matter because they don't define what is truth? Truth is something that is absolute, and the one who is 100% absolute is God. Do you know if you are in this world and you're navigating through this world, you're always going to find obstacles. You're always going to find, the cost of doing business. And not everyone is impartial. A lot of people have what is partiality to them. And we all, as every person, I don't care who it is, we all struggle with favoritism. We all struggle with partiality. We all struggle with things that we like and what we don't like. And, a lot of us, it's just the way that our culture is in this type of world, particularly if you're living in a Western consumerism type of reality that's really all around you. People are programmed by a lot of things that are superficial. And it's not their fault necessarily, it's just the way that they've been conditioned. And the way that I look at all human interactions, it's an experience of being able to then see myself even through other people. Because if someone has a criticism that's a bias, in a biased form of criticism, and it just comes out in a very inverted way, and I find out and I'm able to pick up and see that person's reaction that may show that they just find something that they don't want to associate with me. They don't want to be a part of what is my world. They don't want me in their world. They could appear to be friendly. They could appear to be, someone that is a trusted individual at first, and I could click with that person. They could click with me. They could be us having everything in common until one day that person reveals their colors, what's inside of them. And it's not because they're wrong. It's not because they're bad. It's not because I'm wrong or I'm bad. It's just the connections. Sometimes energy fades. Sometimes one person's energy could be too strong for that person, so they ghost, they turn away, and they give you a blind eye. You know what I mean? Everyone is on a journey, so I look at it like, how can I learn from myself what others may see that maybe I could pick up on? Maybe I could become maybe a better giver if I was a person that maybe hasn't given enough, or maybe I need to improve, the way that I speak to people. That could be also another thing too. There is always something that you could actually perform in a better light. And sometimes it takes doing the most difficult thing, which is self-improvement. Because a lot of us, I could tell you one thing, we are very comfortable in our positions that we are familiar with. We are very much, accustomed to the things that we do habitually every day, and it's just a constant routine of where we're doing things that are mostly tied to comfort. But getting out of your comfort zone, that's a whole different topic. That's a whole different strategy. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. People tend to favor other people who look to get out of their comfort zone, that take risks, that have something that is a philosophy of acting out in ways that demonstrate what it is to really live life to the fullest. And it could be, the fact that what people see you do, what it is that you're earning for a living, what are you giving back to other people in society. That's how you're judged a lot of the times. And this is why people that could either rock with you or they could not rock with you, because they're judging you based upon things that you have. What are you contributing? What are you doing on a very big scale of, being socially constructive, with people that they could see if they respect you. It's all about, in this world, I'm going to say the three things: it's money, it's power, and respect that you have to have in order to have people, look at you as equal to them. What I'm going to say is the way that people will treat you in terms of how they treat themselves, because people normally will treat themselves in the way that is good for themselves. They'll treat themselves with respect. If they're people that honor what is respect, if they honor what is, what money can buy, for an example, because think of it this way, every one of us has a little bit of attachment to money, what money can buy, what money can do. Money could really give you a life that is, the grandiose of superficial things, to be able to obtain that please, the eye, that please, us humanly. We all chase after what is money that can buy us whatever the things that we are looking for. It's just that there are those that aren't attached to money. They're not looking, based off of the outcome, what is of money that can buy, because there is more to, just living for what money can buy as far as, material things. Some people, they're more invested in wisdom because they're looking at, life from a very spiritual lens. The older they get, the more that they encounter different people, they're just trying to take bits of information as far as how they can grow by all of their encounters as time goes on, to grow by even just being in different places, different continents, if one is able to travel. It's finding the purpose of getting everything as far as the meaning of life, living to the fullest of life that could offer a person, and finding God that they're able to see in all things. God could be found in all people, even those that don't even follow or believe in God. You could still find, God inside of every person, because we are all created in the Creator's image. We are also subjected to the creation all around us as far as this earth. God is in the earth. And you could just see that nothing is in vain. You have to just realize that we are here and we didn't have a choice to come here. We were just born from our parents, and we were in this world to live in this world and, to experience the cycle of life and death. We have to experience everything that is on the scale of life. And we have to experience, what is death, what is the cost of, living in this life, the human sufferings that are just inevitable, right? And the joy that we find in bits and pieces of, that peace when we are not over-trapped by the world and its system. I look at it like this. People are going to let you down, and you're going to let other people down because of expectations. That's just the truth. We think that everything is owed to us. A lot of us, we look at as if we are entitled to have everything that we feel is deserving for us, but nothing is deserved to us. Everything that you work for is not even yours, because you think about who owns all of the money and all of those who have money in their bank, money in retirement, money that they're saving up to buy a new house, a new car. They could take that money that you have, that you've worked, in a split second, and you would have nothing. Your possessions are not even yours. I mean, you could have a Rolex watch that's all shiny and bright until that watch falls into a sewer or falls off of your wrist into a river, or the watch gets stolen or gets broken. We have this illusion of ownership, but what do we really own? We don't even own our own identity. We don't even own, our own, positions that we carry. It's real. I'm telling you that you have to take a look at yourself, and you have to really see what really is the meaning and value of all of this that entered in. We are in this one big conglomerate matrix setting, and most people are tied to the matrix. Most people are, just living for today. They're living for themselves. They're living for what they can get from whoever that is useful to them. I mean, don't think that loyalty is something that is guaranteed. I don't care if it's the most spectacular individual that you have come in contact with that has said all the most powerful, great, treasures of words to you. A person can change just based off of circumstance. And, if you're someone that is seen as not offering somebody else something specifically, if you're not benefiting someone particularly in a way that is going to have them in a position of gaining, if you're not helping someone gain, if you're not someone that has something specifically going for yourself, if you're not accumulating, we could speak about wealth on some level. If you're not someone that people respect, if they see that you're not someone who is respected in this world, if you don't have a certain reputation that is tied to some sort of success that they're looking outwardly, or if they can't get something of information that they could benefit, off of you for themselves, if there's something that they can't use you for, then that's the reason that they'll cut you off. And remember, we're in a world that is conditional. We're in a world that sets standards that's based off of conditions. Love is something that is conditional. You just take a look at how many marriages you see end in divorce. How many relationships you see people breaking up. And these were those people, I'm saying, that have been married, that have been dating each other, saying they loved each other, saying that they wanted to be with each other exclusively. You see one person going out of their way buying gifts, flowers, and all this, and the other person is reciprocated and is just like so happy that they met this person and that this person is in their life. And then you see completely an off switch. Those same people that said they would, death do us part, now completely want nothing to do with each other. They hate each other. They separate from each other. They divorced one another. One divorced the other, and vice versa. You see what I mean? There's a condition. It's only based off of what is satisfying of the person's feelings. If someone feels good the way that somebody else may make them feel, that's the love that they express. If somebody only wants you to give them something, and the only time that they're satisfied with you is when you give them something, whether it's finances, whether it's gifts, whether it's praises. If someone is saying that they love you, a friend, it could be a partner, it could be a spouse that is a partner, if they're only with you because of what you have to give them, they love what it is that you offer. They don't love you. They're not interested in you. It's because the moment somebody else opens up their assets, they open up what is tied to their wallet, they open up their house that is a bigger house than yours, that person will flock to that other person's interests. I'm saying specifically in relationships. Women, for an example, a lot of them, I'm not going to say every one of them, it all depends on the type of woman that you find that you could, be exclusively in a real setting with. But there's a lot of gold diggers. They're looking just to find that particular asset that is going to access their life. They're going to make whatever's going to make their life in access of them having the finest things. And they want that lifestyle, and if your lifestyle matches what they want, they will love you for it. But when your lifestyle doesn't match their ideas, and if your lifestyle is not equated with their philosophy, that is material wealth, then you are expendable. And then it's on to them finding the next one that they could see what they have, what they could get a hold of, what they can take, and what they could live off of until they become expendable, until the next person that outshines them. You see, people in this society, and I speak even the same thing, I want to say with men that also use women for other purposes, and they have their own agendas to suit their own pleasures. And you see, men, they're constantly about looks and upgrading. If there's a woman that you see men, I'm not saying all men, but I'm saying a majority of men that are out in the world, if they have a woman and she looks all right, and a man sees a woman that looks better, that has a better physique, a better appearance structure, a better looking face, they will literally dump the person that they were with to go with that other person that looks better. It's like human relationships are all about upgrading superficially. And it's not because I'm saying this to fault people in this society. It's just the way that we have been conditioned. I have thought that way. I have fallen into the trap of what looks better equals something that is better, but that's not the truth. I'm going to tell you right now, it's your self-worth. Do you see yourself worthy? Do you see yourself where you can love yourself truly for who you are, rather than allowing other people to give you validation according to how they feel? See what I mean? Are you actually loving yourself because of what God made you? Do you love yourself in a way that isn't prideful, that isn't self-centered, but just loving who you were made in the eyes of God Almighty? You know, I'll just say this. When Jesus said that whoever looks to save his life in this world shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. You know, we try to hold on to everything consistently with all the everyday vanities. You know, the things that we hold on to most is how we could be accepted by wanting to look the best for people to be impressed. But does that really hold weight? Do you know every day you're a different person? You're shedding the old person every single minute of every single day. And I'm going to just keep it real with you. Just look at how people are living in 2026. They are living completely where they don't have any want for connection on a level of just personal interactions. Everyone is tied to distractions, their phone distractions, their media source on television that they watch, distractions. People are distracted by what is in their head, what they're thinking about, what they want next, as far as an expensive material, object, possession that they are looking for. And people are thinking about themselves where they're caught up in themselves. And this is why it's hard to find that genuality. And people are offended if you try to have a conversation and just being lighthearted. You could just be flattering in a way that is casual without being offensive. And people will find what you're saying is offensive. It's like everything has to be corrected. And, we're taught in today's world that if you say anything is fair game that can cause an offense, that can cause relentlessness to come out of a person. And you got to find who it is that you can trust truly, because not everyone is going to receive you in a way where they're going to find you trustworthy, even if you're someone that is in all respects someone to be trusted. People will make you into someone that they don't trust, and they're liable to lie on you. They're liable to speak, different things that they can come up with against you to others, and to put you in a corner. Some people are afraid of success. Some people are afraid of the truth because it's too harsh for them, it's too real for them. And I just want to let you know that my self-worth comes from the way I've been created, the way I was engineered, I'm going to say, into this world. I know that God, He's the one that looks out for me. He's the one that gives me what I need for the day. He gives me all to what I need to stay content. And, my self-worth doesn't come from the world. It comes from within. It comes from God, I'm going to say, perfectly. And I know where I'm at. I know where I need to go. I know what I have to do. And I would say the same thing for you also.